Chapter 2, Part 5. Dressed in his meticulously chosen royal blue suit worth 7,000 euros and tailored at Savile Row, King looked every bit the part of a distinguished gentleman. He wore his signature wine-colored waistcoat today to match his tie and pocket square, perfectly coordinated. His solid gold watch, cufflinks, and meticulously shined 1,000-euro shoes completed the ensemble. King then placed his papers in his hand-stitched briefcase, a purchase from Paris, and made his way downstairs. This daily routine had been his for the past 50 years and remained the highlight of his day. As King descended the grand wooden staircase of Blackstaff Manor, he called out, "Be careful with that." His voice echoed throughout the house, directed at a workman who was in the process of removing a priceless painting from the grand hall's wall. "That painting is priceless and worth more than your life," King continued to admonish the worker as he descended the stairs. Even Dr. John emerged from the hospital room across from the staircase, checking to see if King was all right. It appeared that Dr. John's patient had significantly improved after treatment. In fact, King felt so invigorated that he seemed ready to break through a wall. The medication had finally taken effect. The construction work around the manor greatly annoyed King. He was displeased with the Preservation Society's agreement that involved restoring some of the main ground floor rooms to their formal listed status. In return, they would address the upstairs areas over the next few years and seal the foundations below. Unfortunately, this meant no pool in the basement for King, at least for the time being. Due to the renovations, he and his wife Rosie had been required to relocate to another substantial house recently acquired by King on the opposite side of Blackstaff Town. "What's happening here?" King inquired as he approached the wall where his butler oversaw the removal and packaging of one of King's prized paintings. "Good morning, Mr. King," an English aristocrat voice replied from the door between the Great Hall and the library. "We brought in experts from the National Museum Moving Service to assist in transferring your remarkable painting collection to its new location." "And who are you?" King asked as he approached the man. "I am Mr. Johnston of the National Museum Moving Service. I've been entrusted with overseeing the transfer of your remarkable artwork to your new residence until the construction here is completed," the man replied, somewhat taken aback by King's loud tone. "We appreciate your use of our service and want to assure you that your artwork is in capable hands. Mr. Brennan here has all the necessary documentation. We've thoroughly reviewed the relocation process for each of your fine pieces." Growing even more irritated by the Englishman's presence in his library, King stated firmly, "Don't touch the painting in the library. It's not going anywhere." Mr. Johnston responded, "Is that the painting covered with a white cloth? I was curious about it because Mr. Brennan didn't provide us with pictures of that painting, though he mentioned it might be among the pieces being moved today." "You didn't look at it, did you?" King questioned. "No," replied Mr. Johnston. "Good. Stay out of the library," King ordered as he headed for the manor's front door, essentially dismissing Mr. Johnston as one of his servants. "Brennan," King said as he opened the massive front door, "make sure they don't mess anything up." He spoke loudly enough for everyone on the ground floor to hear, especially Mr. Johnston. "Mr. King," Brennan replied, "I must introduce you to Mr. Schwartz from the insurance company, Drake Holdings of Geneva." At that moment, a slender and impeccably dressed gentleman in a pinstripe suit, sitting in the corner of the great hall, stood up. Brennan continued, "Mr. Schwartz is responsible for the security of the paintings. He has implemented all the necessary security measures for these paintings and other artworks that are being moved to the new house or the storage facility that has been arranged." King, who was already running late, told Brennan as he made his way to the front door, "No more introductions. You take care of him." Without even looking in the direction of Mr. Schwartz, who was approaching to introduce himself and shake hands, King asked, "Is the car ready?" as he continued out the door. At that moment, Brennan, well aware of King's temperament, said, "Sir, the car is ready," as he walked to the main door of the house where King was standing. About time, King muttered as he proceeded to the carport entrance, where his brand new black Bentley awaited him. His driver had the passenger side door open and ready for him to step in. King never sat in the back seat. He felt safer in the front, where he could oversee everything. As King walked out of the door, he paused to admire the immaculate gardens of Blackstaff Manor and the sprawling lands that seemed to stretch on for miles. He gazed at Blackstaff Forest in the distance, a daily ritual he had maintained since moving into Blackstaff Manor nearly 50 years ago to the day.